Hey guys, welcome back to DCS, and welcome back to the learning series in the DCS F-18C Hornet. In today's video, we'll be discussing air-to-ground weapons employment options, and specifically we will discuss CCIP delivery of Mark 84s, as well as the M61A2 20mm gatling gun. I will be discussing the other weapons delivery modes as well as rockets in a separate video. So let's go ahead and get started. Now your SMS page will be on the left DDI. SMS stands for Stores Management System. And over here is your master arm switch. So you can click that to arm and you'll see arm written there. And then you've got two master modes, air to air and air to ground. Obviously we'll select air to ground. And now we're ready to go. So on the left DDI, on the top row, you'll see the list of weapons that you are currently carrying. At the moment I'm only carrying Mark 84s. So you see 84 there, and we're going to go ahead and select that. Now it says ready underneath the box, okay? And if it's not ready, it will have a cross through that box with the 84. Now along the left side of the DDI, you'll see a couple of different options: mode, M fuse, and as well as E fuse. So the mode option gives you your delivery modes, basically automatic, flight director, CCIP, as well as manual. Obviously for today we're going to choose CCIP. Now underneath you have M fuse as well as E fuse, as I said. The M fuse basically gives you fusing options for the Mark 84s as well as the E fuse. We're not going to worry about the E fuse as such. We're going to go back to the M fuse. Now you've got the traditional options: off, nose, tail, and nose and tail. We're going to choose nose. And now down the bottom with it says program 1. You can program up to 5 different programs, and you can see our options listed. So mode, CCIP, M fuse, nose, E fuse is off, as well as the drag, and then you can see the quantity as well. It says 1. That's just by default. Now you've got this other option over here, step. Basically it allows you to choose the different stations. So at the moment, to the far left station there's a Mark 84. Using that step button, you can go ahead and choose that if you want to drop that specific bomb. But that would not be such a smart thing, because that will make the aircraft extremely asymmetrical in terms of load. So we're going to go ahead and choose the center, the middle Mark 84. Now in terms of program 1, you can go ahead and change the different quantities. Like if you want to drop 2 bombs, whatever, you can do that by clicking the UFC button, which is the upfront controller here. And you can go ahead and select quantity and enter the quantity that you like, for example 1, and then you have to click enter for it to be saved. And then multiple describes the amount of bombs of that type that you want to drop at the same time from each store. So for example, you can click 4. At the moment we can't do that because we don't obviously have 4 Mark 84s on each station. I'm going to go back to 1. I'm going to enter, and you can see, so program 1, mode CCIP, M fuse nose, quantity 1, multiple 1. Now over here with the program button, you can change the programs. As I said, you can have 5, and the tone button basically gives you a tone that will get sent out every time you pickle something. And over here is the gun. You can select that, and then you'll get a crosshair on the HUD. Basically this indicates a hot gun. Meaning what? Meaning that you can drop the bomb and fire the gun at the same time if you choose to do so. So let's go ahead and actually get to the target area so we can demonstrate this whole thing to you guys. Okay guys, welcome back. So we're about 12 miles out from the target area. I have placed a bunker, about 5 trucks, as well as 5 tanks. So we're going to go ahead and approach the target area, and then we'll discuss the CCIP delivery. So first we're going to drop 1 Mark 84 on a bunker. Now you might be able to see it. Yep, there it is. That's the bunker. So we'll be dropping the first Mark 84 2,000-pound bomb on that bunker, and then we'll drop the remaining Mark 84s on the tanks, and then we're going to strafe the trucks with the M61A2 20mm gatling gun. So immediately on the HUD, you guys can see the flight director there is a line extending down from the flight director. That is called the displayed impact line, right? That's that line heading down is the displayed impact line. And underneath that, there's a bracket. That is basically your pull-up cue. So you want your flight director at all times to be above the pull-up cue. Now we're going to go ahead and roll in onto the target. Now every time you want to use CCIP delivery, you want to do it from a high angle, preferably 35 to 40 degrees of dive. I'm going to go ahead and extend the speed brake. Now you see that bracket? That's the pull-up cue that I was talking about. And now you're going to start seeing the CCIP impact cross, and there it is. Now as soon as that goes on top of the bunker, I'm going to pickle the Mark 84. And there we go. Mark 84 is off. Now we're going to pull off. And let's see. There we go. Impact. Perfect. Direct impact. Guys, this is an incredibly accurate delivery system. I mean, at the moment we don't have guided weapons in the early access for the DCS F-18C Hornet, but even without the guided weapons, this is extremely accurate. So we had a direct hit, and those are the tanks, and that's the truck. We're going to go for the tanks first. Then we'll strafe the trucks later. So now we want to drop the remaining Mark 84s on the tanks. So we're going to go ahead to the UFC in program 2, and we're going to modify the quantity. So we'll select quantity, and we'll go for enter, multiple, obviously again 1. And now this is interval, basically the amount of spacing that you want to have for the bombs when they impact the ground. And I'll select 150 feet. Now it's written down there as well. You can see 150 feet. And obviously, as I said, you can cycle through the programs. We're in program 2. So we want 4 bombs to be dropped with spacing of 150 feet onto the ground. Now, why would you want any spacing on the bombs? Because, as I said, the trucks are actually the tanks are lined up along the road. You want the bombs to drop on all of them. Basically, they're about 100 meters apart. So you want to get everything. Now again, as I said, with the CCIP delivery, you have to have some altitude, and you have to nose down quite heavily, 35 to 40 degrees, and then pickle. And also you want to watch your speed as well. Obviously you wouldn't want to dive at supersonic speed, because that will make your recovery much more difficult. Okay, so you guys can see the road now. Now I'm lining my display impact line directly on top of the road. Okay, I'm extending the air brakes. Now you guys can see that my flight director is above my pull-up cue. As long as that flight director is above the pull-up cue, you're good to go. If it's below, you'll get a flashing cross on the HUD. So at any moment we're going to get the CCIP cross, and there it is. So there are the tanks down there, and pickle. So let's have a look. Beautiful. There we go. Impact. That was really accurate. It's amazing. Now, as I said, the Hornet is extremely accurate for air-to-ground weapons deployment, even though that we don't have the guided weapons yet. So let's go ahead and overfly those tanks and do our own battle damage assessment. Let's see how we did. Yep, there we go. You can see craters, burning tanks. And that was extremely accurate, guys. As you can see, it's hit exactly on the middle of the road. There we go. Everything is burning. Next, we're going to go for those trucks over there with the 20mm gatling gun. So obviously we're going to have to reposition ourselves. And if you look at the SMS page, now you can see that all the stores are basically empty except for the AM9Xs on the two wingtips. Over here, 578, the number represents the actual rounds of 20mm cannon that we have. We have two delivery methods, CCIP or manual. We're going to obviously use CCIP for the gun. And over here you have the high and low option for the gun, for the rate of fire. And over here you have the two different rounds that you can fire. Basically the M50 and something else, which is the more modern. The M50 is the older version. So we're going to stick with the PGU, I believe it is. And then we're going to change the rate of fire to high. Okay? We want high rate of fire. So in total we have 578 rounds. Not a lot, but certainly will probably suffice. So let's go ahead and try and reorientate ourselves. Again, we're going to be coming in from the same direction as the previous two attacks. Now over here in the HUD, you have this pipper in the middle, and it's surrounded by these ticks. Basically, each of these ticks is like 50 mils, right? It's about 50 mils, and when the CCIP starts winding down anti-clockwise is basically when you're getting closer, and when it goes clockwise is you're getting further away. And I believe each tick represents about 1,000 feet of slant range to whatever it is that you're targeting. In total, I think it's about 23,000 feet of slant range that the pipper will give you. So let's go ahead and begin our turn-in. And at the same time, we're keeping an eye on the target area. Now, as I said before, you need to watch your speed. You need to pull back the throttle when you begin to dive. You don't want to be very fast, otherwise you won't be able to pull out. Now again, same with the CCIP delivery. You need to come at this at a high angle, at a relatively high angle. And there we go. You can see that the reticle is beginning to go anti-clockwise. Basically, it's winding down. And remember, each of those ticks represents 1,000 foot. There we go. Now we're going to get the in-range cue, and then we'll fire. There we go. And then we'll pull off. Perfect. Perfect. Very, very accurate. So as soon as you get that in-range cue, basically you know that you're exactly in range. And whenever you put the pipper on and whatever, and you pull the trigger, those rounds will impact. And there we go. All trucks are burning. Very accurate. So we still have 275 rounds of 20mm left in the cannon, but we don't need it. We've basically knocked out everything that we wanted to. Well, guys, that's about it for today's video. Now, one more thing: if you want to make the weapon safe, you turn off the gun, you turn off the master modes, and of course the master arm switch as well. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please remember to like and subscribe. So I'll see you in the next episode.